G'day folks, Tony again here for more Star Control 2. Let's back out of orbit around this planet. We're going to open up the star map and we are going to make our way over here to Zeta Draconis, which is the system where the Thranash thing that we were looking to steal is. So this is going to cause us now to maneuver through both Ilrath and Thradash space. So we're going to have to keep our eyes peeled on that hyperspace little mini-map to try and ensure that we don't bump into anything that we don't want to bump into. And once we get in there and we manage to steal this thing that we're looking for, then I believe that means that we have all of the components that we need to sort of fix the device in question. But my understanding is that where we need to go next is up in that northeastern or upper right-hand quarter of the map to meet with the Udwig and or Supox, who are a couple of races that we have yet to encounter in this Let's Play. So there's a bunch of stuff scooting around there on the map. Nothing at the moment is really catching us. We can't see anything here in Zeta Draconis just yet. Let's check the star map and see what's happening. So both of them flashed and they're both getting a little smaller. So presumably they are indeed beating the snot out of one another. So let's make our way inwards here. And we're just going to save the game on the way in case we mess something up. Or in case something goes a little bit pear-shaped. Come on, save game. You can do it. I believe in you. I believe in you always. All right, good times. So I think it was the central planet here. It's been a few episodes. What have we got? Well, there's nothing screaming at us. It's a primordial world, so that sure looks promising. A bunch of stuff on it, none of which we're going to pick up. There's an energy reading, so that's most definitely promising. And a primordial world with no biologicals on it, which seems a little odd, but fine. Let's go on down and land and see what happens. Wow, that sure looks important. Report from surface, Captain. We have discovered some sort of alien shrine here on the surface. The building is immensely old, at least 2,000 years. Inscribed around the perimeter of the cylindrical shrine are innumerable hieroglyphs which document the history of each of the 19 Thradash cultures. From what we have seen, we have learned that the Thradash have risen to starfaring technology at least 3 separate times, only to nuke themselves back into the Stone Age again and again. The real surprise, Captain, is what we found inside the shrine. We knew the Thradash kept something down here, but we didn't know what it was until we went inside the shrine. In the exact middle of the structure was a tall dais of white stone. Set atop this dais was an immense aqua gemstone, somehow shaped into a flat, twisted ribbon, like a DNA helix. The aqua helix emitted incredible light pulses, illuminating the cavernous shrine like a giant strobe light. At least it did. Until Private Hendricks decided to see what would happen if he grabbed the artifact. The helix immediately ceased glowing and has remained quiescent ever since. We will bring the aqua helix back aboard the ship for further investigation. End of report. Good times. We got it. So let us skedaddle, shall we? We're going to go back here. We're going to open the star map, because we are in need of fuel at some point in the fairly near future. I believe there is a large star very nearby. So let's try heading for it. We'll just do save game. Whoops, again, because there are a lot of things lurking in hyperspace. Wanting to intercept / interrupt / crush us. And I'd prefer that didn't happen. It's now the middle of November 2158, so we are fast approaching a fairly relative D-Day. in the timeline of this video game. So there's probably going to be a bunch of things outside the system here. We may have to switch to manual to try and avoid them. Probably for the best, considering that there's a thing in between us and the big star here, where I'm hoping there'll be a Melnorm who will just sell us a ton of things. Yay! There is indeed. Hello. I want a lot of fuel, thank you. Good times. I think we do have some biologicals to sell. Yep, data on alien life forms, another 158 credits, so that's a little bit extra. So let's top ourselves up on the fuel. Just give me all of it, please. Thank you so much. 555 left, so that's all we need. Let's get out of here. And we're going to turn in this direction, and we're going to fly in this direction, because everything that is approaching us, whoa, look at all of them. It was sort of coming from that way, so let's put a bit of distance in between us and them. Oh boy, so many of them. So many of them. Do they know we stole their thing? Maybe they do. Let's open up our manifest and go into devices. So I'm going to open that portal spawner. So there we go. Now we're in this part of the thing. Now, if I remember correctly, I think that the portal that we're looking for is this one here. But just to be on the safe side, let's save the game again, because that would be super embarrassing if I got the wrong one. I think this is the next step we need to take. Let's find out together. Navigate. Maneuver. Congratulations. So here we are somewhere. Those coordinates certainly look promising. Yay, we did it. This is indeed the spot that we were looking for. Now, I believe the thing that we're going for is over here. Let's head in that direction and see what happens. So we haven't been in this part of the map at all yet. Clearly, it's in the opposite corner to where you start the game. And it is on the far side of all of the giant, big, scary Ur-Quan-y, Korari part of the map. Is there anyone here? Can we see anything? Can't really see anything immediately. I do see possibly a treasure planet over there. And the Indiana Jones in me. Oh, hello. There is something here. Kind of wants to go and investigate. I want to get to the planet first. So you can just back off, whatever you are. I will talk to you shortly. Oh no, I missed it again. That's embarrassing. Let's get a bit more distance in between them. Oh boy, they're coming from everywhere. Yeah, we did it. Just want to see. It is a treasure world. Good. So I'm going to collect all the things before we have our moment with this new race that we have yet to discuss things with or encounter. So much delicious silver. I sure hope this mob that we're about to talk to aren't werewolfish in nature, because now we've got all the silver in our possession. It probably wouldn't make us very popular. One more thing, can't leave any treasure behind. Good times. All right. So once again, it is save game time. In case we do a whoopsie and put a foot wrong and say the wrong thing and get punished by the very unforgiving dialogue trees that this game contains. So back out we go, and it's time to have a chat to just any number of these folks who are all clearly very happy to see us. An alarm. Encounter at Beta Aquarii, Planet 8, with those things, whatever they are. Let's have a chat. Ugh, I suppose as a courtesy I should extend an appropriate greeting. On behalf of the Ur-Quan proctors, I truly hope for your sake that your day has been better than ours. Although this really isn't saying that much. I really like how droopy that font is. Does anything mention the dank? Nope. This is Captain Clapton, representing the new Alliance of Freestars. Please respond. What good would that do? I mean, why should we? We agonized for hours, wondering if it was a cruel twist of fate, or simply a serious case of butterfingery. Ah, the lifetimes that have been spent in the pursuit of the elusive answer to this deceptively simple question has driven many of us down the dark road of self-destruction. Indeed, even as these words strike the ears of any that care to listen, the real question is, does it matter? I cannot say. I wallow in a quandary, unable to determine what better atones for my part of the great sin. Should I engage in slow and painful self-termination? Should I commit myself to a long life of excruciating self-flagellation? Should I throw myself with enthusiastic verve at the problem of collective annihilation? I do not know. Even now my mind writhes in the anguish of indecision lest the outcome be inadequate. Sure. Yeah, starting at the beginning seems like a good plan. I detect that recent events have not gone your way. Why don't you start at the beginning? Sigh. All right, I'll try, but you know, it really doesn't matter. After all, we have a famous Udwig saying, when one loses the reason for existence, one tends to get less motivated. This goes hand in hand with the painful appropriate credo. We broke it, so we are paying for it. Of course, this isn't really accurate. The situation is so much more hideous. Imagine, if you can, holding within your hands the answer, only to have it taunt you with its former potential. Ah, cruel irony. The loss of the Ultron grieves us all. The Ultron. I'm assuming this is a different Ultron from the one that we're all familiar with, thanks to the MCU. Let's find out. Yes, of course, the Ultron. We grieve, how sad. Now, what was it again? Bah, it doesn't matter, besides being of no concern to you. I find discussion of this matter, well, distasteful. Sigh, the Ultron was the only thing which assured total and complete meaning of life for you and me. It was universal. I am sure that you are also aware of this, if only in legend. It granted us all limitless power and knowledge. It has been since, well, rendered inoperative. Okay, sniff, that reminds me of when my pet dog Splib ran in front of a rock chipper. You are kind. If we could wield the Ultron to resurrect your Splib, we would, but I suddenly am overcome with waves of depression. I must retire now to perform rituals of anguish. Waves of trauma wash across my being even now. I must go. Sure. So maybe we were just chatting with a normal folk. Let's see where these ships go back to. They're kind of orbiting all over the place. Let's go into the middle planet here, because they do tend to be the ones that everyone hangs out at. But maybe I'm wrong. I am not wrong. There's certainly plenty of them here. Let's have a chat. Normally we would not bother to acknowledge your presence, but you find us in a state of moderate depression, instead of our normal cycle of self-destructive tendencies. Sure, let's talk about this. Do you know anything about the enslaving Ur-Quan? We know nothing of this species that you mention. However, while we are on the subject of evil and powerful species, we've encountered a particularly gruesome race that seemed to come from the direction of Arcturus. When we hailed them, they responded with mighty weapons that sent our delegation to their deaths. Lucky fools. The aliens' dark crusty battleships are capable of guiding spinning mines into almost any location. Yeah, that's the core R. And should an enemy get too close, a fiery corona emerges to inflict fearsome damage. In our skirmishes with the race, who called themselves the Korah, we found that by using our own shielding capability, we could sweep through the mines, absorb the corona, and then get close enough to the dark ships to give a lick of our own. In truth, however, they are very powerful and ruthless. When the Korah started to press towards our homeworld, we thought that our deserved punishment was being administered. But then, a mystery, they suddenly became disinterested and veered away by confounding frustration. With the Ur-Quan, I could speak knowledgeably on this subject. To have this quality torn from our grasp emphasizes how meaningless our existence really is. This lack of meaning is what drives my species to the serious contemplation of a quick end. Sure. So what more do you know about the Korah? Your query once again painfully reminds me of the Ur-Quan and what it was for the universe. I could tell you all and correct all that is wrong with the universe. All I can tell you is that the Korah live to kill. Their stated purpose is to seek out new life and new civilizations, and then annihilate them. We seemed to qualify as such, and that is why it is puzzling that after pursuing us with some tenacity, they suddenly turned away and headed towards Craterus. All this speculation would be unnecessary if only we had saved the Ur-Quan. It would not have taken much, a diving catch, a throw-on pillow, even a fuzzy wampus would have broken the fall satisfactorily. Indeed, a panel convened to analyse the possibilities concluded that there were at least 623 ways that the Ur-Quan could have been saved. If we had been prepared, let us cease our discussion concerning these matters. Okay. A truly unique set of events put you in your current state. Am I right? To say the least. Our past is one of both glorious and a glorious and proud people coupled with the cataclysm that rocks the universe to its very core. It all began when the chimp rose from the murky bog and the Udwig emerged as well. In these primitive times, we cavorted about our world oblivious to any sort of higher purpose. We took everything at face value. Meanwhile, the tendrils of the chimp infiltrated the vast sky canopies of Fars, and then the veils fell. Suddenly, the Udwig was stunned by a collective realization. All immediately and urgently donned veils of every description: hides, leaves, shells, rocks. Even living drills were donned in the early days. You see, the face is the mechanism that expresses many of the primitive qualities that hinder sentience. Now rid of constant reminders of greed, rage, hatred, and lust, the wisdom of the Udwig was no longer hampered by constant reminders of the primitive urge. Over many generations, mask etiquette was refined to a rock-solid foundation of our society. Sure, the morality rights were expensive both in lives and infrastructure, but the result was better mask regulation, specification from your basic mask of grueling but necessary activity to the most highly decorated countenance of stellar representation. These were clearly defined. Recognizing the importance of flexibility, clear-cut and efficient procedures for revision and redesign. Dealt with a few anomalies. From that moment, we were covered the source of our intellectual oppression. We knew that it was a grand purpose that defined our destiny. Our entire development as a sentient species was coordinated to coincide with the appearance of a remarkable device. The Ur-Quan. We were oblivious to its tragic implication. Wow, yeah, absolutely fascinating, but what exactly do you mean by tragic? In order for you to understand truly the situation, you need to know more about the Ur-Quan. Must we? And its unique capabilities. You see, when the Druge discovered the Ultron, they knew that it was ours. The Druge were compelled by intrinsic universal direction to take it to where it has always belonged. They brought it to us. Oh, the Ultron. It assured total and complete meaning of life for all, the universal. With the Ultron in hand, I could sense not only your motivations and desires, but your purpose. I could act upon these things in ways that would most likely seem mysterious, if not, well, daft. Years later, you would herald our participation in your development as the turning point for your species. The Druge were only one of the few to benefit in this way. Even now they are puzzled by the way we rewarded them for the delivery of the Ultron to its correct place. In 24 years, 2 months and 3 days, they will all dance the dance of jubilation. Indeed, the Ultron has allowed us to change fundamentally the Druge forever. The Supox too receive many benefits from our use of the Ultron. They can testify to its power. Sounds like things were going pretty well, so what happened? Yes, things were perfect. What happened is, well, it is difficult to discuss. I saw it happen. I witnessed the Chin's Ral celebration. I felt the Ultron fill the empty place that I did not know was there. I saw the Grand Proctor pass it to... Well, they say that the Chief Guru did not know that it was so heavy and slippery. Perhaps it was a combination of factors. Some who have reviewed the records claim it was actually a conspiracy. The Commission investigation officially stated that the Ultron was rendered inoperative by the fall to the ground. Yet many feel that the whole story has not been told. As it struck the ground, I saw its glow fade, and then the painful void incapacitated all. All Ludwig immediately donned the mask of ultimate embarrassment and shame with a vow to wear it forever. Bonfires all over the Fars consumed all but this mask. No other mask was spared. The visage of ceremonial orations in all of its contexts and revisions. All of the courting masks from the clever and intriguing veil of flirtatious prancing to the infamous lewd monocle, all consumed by the hungry flames. Even the most fundamental fixtures were committed to this irreversible fate. The mask of natural bodily excretions once hung in every lavatory. Most of the public facilities have removed the disposable mask dispensers. But every once in a while I still see such a repository, always empty. In despair, we gave the broken device to our allies, the Supox, who live at Beta Librae. Thank you for telling me that. We just couldn't stand to look at it any longer. At that time, many suggested that we use the Precursor relic as a form of self-punishment. The proposal was that we collectively go to the second moon of the sixth planet of Zeta Hyades and use the ancient planetarian device to end our existence. After much discussion, we decided that we deserve to suffer. We can use the bomb if we ever decide the time is right. In the meantime, we atone for our grievous mistake with our collective misery. I suddenly sink into a chasm of depression. I must go. Sure, we now terminate communication in a civil yet efficient manner. As do we, go now with neither malice nor joy. Holy dooly, that was a fun time, wasn't it? Let's just move away from here a little bit. We're going to open the star map, and we're going to find... Yep, there are the Ur-Quan. Beta Librae, which I believe is over here somewhere. Eta Librae. Delta Librae. Epsilon Librae. Zeta Librae. Gamma. Oh, come on. Beta Librae, we did it. Congratulations, everyone. We're going to start heading in that direction. Let's pop out into hyperspace. Make sure that we're not about to bump into anyone. Let's have a check of that. Oh, there's certainly a lot of stuff over in that direction, but that's fine. we will save the game because that is all the time we have for this part of the Let's Play. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. You can subscribe to the channel and please tell a friend if you think they might enjoy this. And come back again soon for more Star Control 2.